What is up, everybody? My name is Jeremy and welcome to the channel. Now, the other day I put up a poll on my YouTube community page asking which of the 4 Game of Thrones spin-off series you want to see make it to series the most. And the overwhelming majority of people voted for the Jon Snow series. So, based on that, I'm starting this, the first of a 4-part video series diving into each of the Game of Thrones spin-off series and what we can expect to see from each of them, starting with Snow. But if you didn't vote for Snow, don't worry, because I will be doing videos on each of the spin-off series that HBO has planned. Now, the interesting thing that stood out to me about the Jon Snow series was the fact that it was pitched by Kit Harrington himself to George and HBO. And even more surprisingly was the fact that George must have liked it at least a little bit, as he clearly gave his blessing on the series. A series that would see Kit Harrington teaming up again with his longtime friend from the previous HBO miniseries, Gunpowder, which followed the story and life of Robert Kitsby, played by Kit Harrington. Now, the Snow series could go in many different directions, but one conversation from the Game of Thrones finale between Jon and Tyrion keeps coming to mind every time I think about a potential storyline that Snow could take, and that is the "Ask me in 10 years" line from Tyrion. Now, spoilers ahead for the Game of Thrones finale if you haven't seen it, but in the final episode of Game of Thrones, Jon Snow ends up killing Daenerys, and for this he is thrown in prison, and is eventually visited by Tyrion Lannister. The two exchange a few words, with Tyrion ultimately informing Jon Snow of his fate, being sent back to the Night's Watch for the crime of killing Daenerys. But one thing that does stick out is the question that Jon asks Tyrion, and that is, did we do the right thing, pertaining to killing Daenerys? And Tyrion's response always stuck out for me for many reasons when he said, "Ask me again in 10 years." And every time I think about the Jon Snow series, I think that would probably be a pretty good place to start it off, with Jon having spent the last 10 years north of the Wall with the Wildlings. Maybe by now he's even found a new wife and had a few children. But maybe something big ends up happening down south, which forces Jon to leave his perfect home to, once again, join the fray. Now, I myself would love to see them go the evil Bran route, personally, because another thing that stuck out for me from the Game of Thrones finale is Bran, and the big change that he underwent becoming the Three-Eyed Raven, and how the only thing that was on his mind in the finale was finding Drogon, the last dragon. What if Bran isn't really Bran at all anymore? What if Bran was taken over by the Three-Eyed Raven, and this was his plan the whole time? Take control of Bran, the last Greenseer, and win the Iron Throne, and take control of the last dragon on Earth. A powerful, evil Greenseer with control over a dragon sounds like just the kind of problem that would force Jon Snow away from his family and children to face this new threat. Especially with that threat being what Jon probably thinks is still his brother. It could certainly make an interesting storyline, to say the least, and it could also offer up some potential to have some other cameos from some of the other Game of Thrones actors as well, especially if Jon has to come down south of the Wall and back into Westeros again. He's going to have to stop at Winterfell, he's going to have to stop at King's Landing, he's going to have to see some people along the way. It's just the kind of perfect way to open up plenty of cameos for some of these other actors or actresses that want to return. Another theory that I've been hearing a lot that seems to be gaining a lot of steam is that the Night King isn't really dead. Now, I know we all saw the Night King get unceremoniously shanked by Arya in episode 3 of the final season, but what if the Night King didn't really perish? Fans have been speculating that maybe the Night King warged into Bran just before his death. Now, we know that the Night King does have some very powerful warging abilities, and some greensight abilities by the look of it, as evidence enough of him forcing Bran out of visions and leaving his own mark on Bran. And maybe all of these things are going to come into play in the spin-off series. Maybe the mark that the Night King left on Bran is going to allow the Night King to take control of Bran's body right in the moment before his death. I mean, it certainly could be an interesting way to bring the Night King and potentially even the White Walkers back into the storyline. I know I heard a lot of people saying How is a Jon Snow storyline going to be compelling without the threat of the others? And maybe this could potentially be a way to bring the others back. Either way, it's a pretty interesting fan theory that I've been hearing a lot more lately and seems to be gaining up some steam. But that is going to do it for us today. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think? Where would you like to see them take the Jon Snow series? And what cast members would you like to see return from the original Game of Thrones series? Don't forget to slap a like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications on your way out so you don't miss any of our upcoming content or our weekly live streams that go live every Sunday night. And as always, I want to thank everybody out there for watching, and we will see you on the next one.